driving out there through the gates the first time, you know, all these memories of not that long ago, you know, at that time, being in Minnesota in this small town, thinking I was a little crazy in the head, going, why do I see him on TV and think, gosh, why do I feel like he's going to come into our life someday? I mean, so here I am, we're driving on the property and going, I'm going to Michael Jackson's Neverland. Like, how did this happen? Thank you, Michael, but how? And so, I mean, as we drove back into the hills, the more excited I got. I could hardly wait to park the car. Like, let's just get out. I just want to run across the green fields. And so, yeah.
Did you have to sign a disclaimer when you went into Neverland?
Yes.
And you couldn't bring a camera?
No.
So you don't have any pictures.
It's all right here and
but
right
it's
here.
all in your heart and in your
Yes.
head.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure Michael had his cousin Lee Jackson out there. Probably was really young then. Probably videotaping. Didn't you have somebody out there taping? Because I know Michael liked to watch the kids having fun.
I don't know, Mom.
I'll bet you there's footage somewhere. You know, his cousin Lee Jackson from Lompoc still lives in the area. And we're live. Can't take it back. Can't edit it because this is live tonight. Yeah, I bet you Lee would have probably been out there taking footage. Lee would have been pretty young, but Michael usually had somebody. When I got out there 10 years ago after arraignment day, I hated signing that disclaimer. I had hidden cameras, and I thought, well, I'll put a big camera away, but maybe this little, you know, this
iPhone or something.
Yeah, this little camera I'll slip in my pocket, and then I get to where the second gate is, and I see them, they're wanding people. And I'm thinking, ooh, I think I got to go back to the car.
Nice try.
I tried. Michael, your security was too thorough, and now I can't prove all the fun I had there and all the people that were having fun.
Yes.
I guess it was an amazing event. Did he have caterers trucks out there too for those days, or did he have his chef working overtime?
I don't know, Mom. Do you barbecued in the backyard?
So it's just like one day-long party.
Oh,
Did Michael come by and say hello?
He was on tour.
Oh.
I didn't even get to. Here's the ironic thing. I didn't ever get to meet Michael in this lifetime.
You never got face-to-face with him, ever?
Mom did, of course, but never me.
We'll have to interview your mom. Can you twist her arm and have her come on? And
Come
not
on,
this show,
Mom.
but not this show, but
Well, I think she should come on right now, don't you think?
so?
Come on.
Let's let her get think about it. Maybe a future
Okay.
show. So your book is coming out probably
Hopefully August. Maybe we're
August.
shooting for his birthday.
Wow. If you're ready, I would like to show the little girl that came from all the way. The Bartolini family came all the way from Italy. Bruna Bartolini, her daughter, and her husband came all the way from Italy just 2 weeks ago for the express purpose. They're not writing a book. They just wanted to get permission from the Michael Jackson estate to show a new wax image of Michael in the new museum called the Museo della Sera di Roma. Capisce? And we tried, and I called the estate attorneys, and I couldn't get John Branca, couldn't get Howard Weitzman. All I got was Miss Davis, Miss Yaffe, and they said they have a team that will look at the email and whatnot. And I sent them an email, I called them. The bottom line was, the answer was no. They would not give their blessing, even though they didn't need the blessing, because this is a new image made since '09. But I can tell you, the Italian fans were really not happy with you, Mr. Branca, or your Team Jackson. So here's a shot, a video, of the little girl in my backyard, 4 or 5 of my little guinea pigs, and we feed them fresh carrots, just like people feed their horses.
Carota di insalata e buccia di arance e carote e bucce di banana. Loro sono molto spaventati.
We are overfeeding these pigs with carrots and banana peels. They're all fat, like me, with fresh carrots.
Non è
This little girl
però
had a great
possono
time.
mangiare 2 chili al giorno
Yeah.
Questa piccola
Dad said, no,
carota.
that's enough. I said, no, go ahead.
La
I
fanno
have a
mangiare
freeze prepared some more.
sia di buon gusto
So I have my
sia
own mini
marcia
Neverland in my
che
backyard.
matura.
And kids love,
vedi,
there's a
questa
close-up of
carota
one of
è
my
una
favorite little fuzzy
marcetta.
butts. White face,
E
Mr.
poi
White face.
devono stare
And they got a little cat
all'inverno,
dish there
devono
where they
stare
have their own
dentro una
dry food.
gabbia.
So the guinea pigs can help themselves when they want. Oh, he's having a good time. He's chewing the inside. He's scared. She wanted to pick one up, and those guys are keeping their distance. They're like, hey, I hear Italian spoken here. We don't speak Italian here. We speak guinea pig. All right, yeah, there's the father.
Ciao.
Yeah, there's the little girl.
Salutate. Ciao,
They had-
ciao.
yeah, Dad. When did you start writing your book, Lisa Brisse?
That's an interesting question. And there's a little story leading up to that. Because in 2007, I was hired a writing coach because I wanted to write another book. And I started writing another book about, I've had a horse for 32 years, the same horse. I got her when she was a year old and I was 13. I brought her from Minnesota to California.
You brought your horse out here? Really?
I was here 6 months to get my feet on the ground, and then
Oh,
I found
then
her
you-
a place to come, yes.
And did you drive all the way back, get a horse trailer, and bring her all the way out?
No, we hired a horse transportation company to ship her out.
Yeah, that was expensive, huh?
Yes, especially at that time. I was a 20-year-old, you know, I think it was $600, but that was a lot for me at that time.
Yeah, that's a lot.
So that's a whole other story, but in the 90s I started to realize that this horse has a lot of wisdom and is teaching me about me and life. And I was a journal writer, so I was keeping notes on what I was learning about life from her. And in 2007, I hired a writing coach to help me write her book. My horse's name is Little Miss, and she's on my bio picture because she's a very important, on the back.
Oh, that's
she
you
is.
on the back. So,
Anyway, so yes, I was hired a writing coach to help me write this book. This was in 2007. A week before Michael died, we would do our sessions over the phone. I would send her chapters and she would edit, and then we would talk over the phone. A week before he died, June 18th, 2009, we had a phone session, as we usually did. Within 3 minutes of the conversation, Michael came up in conversation. I don't know how, I don't remember, but I said to her, I said, oh, that's a whole nother book I'm going to write one day. And she says, well, what do you mean by that? And I said, really, it's a long, long story, and it's going to take a long time for me to explain it all. And she says, well, I'm really interested to hear. So we ended up spending the whole hour talking about all these Michael miracles that ended up happening. And I told her my perspective of his soul. I said, you know, I believe that Michael's soul came to this lifetime to reflect to all of us who we ultimately are, in the light, in the dark, in all of it. And she said to me, she said, Lisa, I don't want to change your course with writing your book about your horse, but I get a really strong feeling that it's time for you to write this book about Michael. And I'm like,
your
what?
writing coach is saying this to you?
She's saying this to me.
Okay.
And I'm like, what? And she said, I know. I don't know what it is, but I'm getting this strong feeling that it's time. She says, I can tell you, nobody has written from this perspective, this deeper perspective of what you're telling me. And she said, and I even think he would be honored to hear how you see him. And she says, how about this? How about you just open yourself in this next week to the possibility? And let's set our next schedule, or our next appointment next Thursday, June 25th, 2009. Let's set it for 1 to 2 p.m. But in the next week, just open your heart like you do and see how this feels. And she said, and if you come to me next week and you say, no, this doesn't feel right, then we'll go on. I'm like, okay. So I got off the phone and I was like, okay, life, Michael, whatever. I'm open. Well, the next week, Michael's energy was all around me. His energy was absent in my life for probably the 4 years prior after the trial. It's kind of like he disappeared. But that week, he was everywhere. And we had our phone call. It hadn't been announced that he died yet. We had our phone call. We talked for another hour. This also is recorded. We talked about the possibility, and she opened the conversation and said, so what was this week like for you? Where are you with this? And I said, well, he was everywhere. And I said, I don't know why, but I guess I'm open to writing this book now. And she said, and I said, but I just didn't think it would be now. And she said, well, when did you think it would be? And I said, I hate to even think it or say it, but I just thought it would be sometime after he died. And she said, I can understand that, but she said, like I said last week, I think he would be honored, and he may even want to help you write this book.
And that was June?
25th, 2009.
In the morning?
1 to 2 p.m. It hadn't been announced yet. It was announced at 2:26 or something. Around
Wow.
there.
Talk
So-
about timing.
Timing. So I hang up the phone and I go, okay, well, I guess I'm writing this book. Who knows why? I end up doing some things, and then I get online, and there's the headline. Michael Jackson dies of cardiac arrest. You can about imagine
Ooh,
the shock.
wow.
I am numb. I pick up the phone, and I call my writing coach back, and I'm like, have you seen the news? She says, no, why? I said, Michael just died. And she said, oh my God, Lisa, if this isn't a tribute or a testimony of your connection to him. She said, he came to you in this last week to prepare you.
Wow, 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 wow.
So probably the most surreal moment of my life.
Yeah, I'm sure. It gives me chills up the back of my neck.
And my actual profession is I'm an exercise physiologist and spin instructor and wellness coach. And that night I have a business called State of the Heart Fitness in Santa Monica. That night I had to teach a spinning class. And needless to say, all I did was put on Michael's music. I couldn't say a word because I was crying. And everybody in the class didn't say a word. Eyes closed, tears. His energy was, his spirit was there. It was a moment, to say the least.
Sure. And the conversation, you taped it, or
Yes.
your coach taped it?
Yes, she recorded it. I have them on my...
Was that her standard practice, to record the conversations with people so she could remind you that, yes, I talked about this?
So that I could go back and listen.
And
'cause-
listen.
So that I could hear it
Hear
2 or
the-
3 times,
yeah.
you know, when I was editing my books before.
Wow.
So those 2
So
sessions.
it's taken you these 4 years to put this book together.
Yes, writing it for 4, and the last year has been editing, rewriting and editing.
Well, I can relate to that because I've been writing my book on the actual trial because I was at the trial all 5 months. And I usually sat right behind Katherine Jackson. And when I start to write, I get so angry because it brings back all the feelings. I'm watching the prosecutors create lies and fabricate evidence, and I can't say a word. All I can do is sit there and take notes. But there were several times when I wanted to stand up and say, excuse me, Judge Melville, I need a minute to strangle Tom Sneddon. But I don't think that would have gone very well.
No.
But I felt so angry, and I suffer from Vietnam. I suffer from post-traumatic stress syndrome. And I had pretty much overcome it. I'd had therapy, and then this trial started. And by the end of the 5th month, I was a wreck. Inside. Outside, I was, hey, got fans, I'm doing video, you want to do an interview? But inside, I was just, I needed to strangle somebody. You know, I was so angry because I was an eyewitness to this total fabrication of 10 felonies and 4 misdemeanors. And to this day, I haven't got over it. And I sit down, I try to write the book, and I'll go about 20 minutes, and all the anger wells up.